Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Billy Joe Hillbilly's Tidbits. There are people in the world, they get such crazy ideas and they don't really think things through. And if you just stop and think about stuff for a moment, so much will make sense. Maybe not everything. I'm still working on stuff. But there are some things that just, if you give it a little thought, it'll work out. So, I want to talk about life. Is life fair? And if God loved us, wouldn't life be perfect? He must not love us. Okay, this is all just craziness, people. God made us human, physical. Part of that is having a beginning, some existence, and then an end. Now that existence sometimes is, considerable. People can live to be 100 or more. There are those that never make it out of the womb, that are literally never born, conceived and then die, or are murdered. But part of the finite existence, where we exist in time in a physical form, part of it is to experience the good and the bad. Some of that experience is to take pleasure in the joy and the good, and to recognize that when you see it, because you've also experienced the bad and the pain. You see, you can't have an appreciation for the good and the happy and the love if you haven't known the opposites. If you've never known pain, how can you really truly appreciate pain-free? If you felt good all the time, you wouldn't show any kind of appreciation for it. You just expect it. So you see, He made us limited, physical. So we're going to get sick. People are like, well, it's one thing if you're 80 and you get cancer, but it's just wrong if you're just you're just 3 or 6-year-old and you got your whole life ahead of you and you get cancer. And yes, it is tragic. I don't want to make light of it. I don't want to sound like I'm callous and hard-hearted or unloving, uncaring, unsympathetic. It is horrible, but it is fair. Do you know, if an 80-year-old can get cancer, then fair is fair. An 8-year-old or an 8-month-old can get cancer. You see, if there's an accident and the only person that dies in that accident is someone over 60, or the bad person that happens to be riding along in the car, the one who's hurt others and so on. Of course, we've all hurt others and so on. But if it's only the old person that died, wouldn't that look just a little... When you start thinking that there's something out there kind of stacking the deck, wouldn't you kind of think that, somebody's kind of watching over all the kids, but well, if you're old and you're in a car wreck, you're out of luck. But heck, you're under 60 or whatever. It doesn't matter. That sucker could flip, go off a cliff, catch fire, and explode. You'll be all right because somebody's watching out for you. Doesn't that make the existence of something outside of us, wouldn't that be like God biasing us toward belief? Because he makes it obvious that he's out there, watching over the good people. Because only bad people die in car wrecks. Only bad people get cancer. Or only old people get cancer. Or fair is fair. And yes. I mean, more often than not, there's a good number of diseases and afflictions and sicknesses and whatever that happen more prevalently in later years of life and things like that. But there are childhood diseases and all that too. But if you only got sick and died when you were old, how is that equitable and how is that fair? I mean, as humans, we want the, children to grow old and what have you. But fair is fair. If a car wrecks, it would be really strange if only the bad people died, or only the old people died, or only the... You know what I mean? Think about it this way too. Let's say the car wrecks. There's grandpa and grandson in it. Grandpa's 80 and grandson's 8. People are like, well, the grandson had his whole life ahead of him. Well, one, you don't know that. You don't. The grandson could have lived, 8 more years, got his license, and died in a horrible car crash, possibly killing half a dozen others in the process. You don't know. But then you'll say, oh, well, he could have grown up and found the cure for cancer. Well, he could have grown up and taken a gun to school with him and killed dozens. Maybe the old man was about to make some discovery. You don't know. So fair is fair. It doesn't seem fair to us because you want the little boy to live to the age of 80. And the old man, he's 80. He's had his life. It's okay if he dies. You don't want him to suffer, but hey, better him than the 8-year-old. Well, okay, sure. We look at it that way, but don't think that, God's, out there going, oh, well, goodness, I mean, the steering wheel went straight through the old man, but, we'll let them all survive. Or, the 8-year-old boy flew out the window, but the 80-year-old man, he's the one that has to die because he's old. They might both live, they might both die. The 80-year-old could have 10 more years left and could, who knows? Could have all sorts of positive impact on people's lives, and the opposite is true. The 8-year-old could grow up and kill somebody. Or, the opposite could be true. Who knows? You don't know. But if it were always the bad person, if it's always the mean person, if you commit a sin and then you fell over dead, people would be like, oh gosh, don't even think it. You go, oh, he thought it. Plunk. I told you not to think about dirty stuff. I told you not to think about that girl. I told you, son, not to look at that dirty stuff on the internet. Finds him laying on the ground dead. I mean, that's just not how things work, you know? Well, sure, we kind of want the bad people to you know, to either, you know, repent and become good people, or to just die and get out of our way. And we want the young and the innocent, not that there is such a thing, but we want them to go on and on and on, and that's what we want. But you know, fair is fair, and if it were any different, it would seem biased. It would seem that God was stacking the deck, and I have no doubt that he could. Don't misunderstand. If he wanted to do that, oh by goodness, he could do that. But I don't think that's really the way that he wants things to work, and that's not the way I think that he works. I think sometimes it's painful, but fair is fair. And life ain't. Life sucks, man. But anyway, I hope yours is going well. I hope you're having a good day. I really do. And I hope I've not offended anyone. I hope that people have, you know, taken a few minutes just to think about stuff.